Hey, let's dive right into something that might just surprise you.
Okay, what have you got?
Would you believe that nearly half, like a solid 45% of startups that have gone on to score over $100 million in funding actually got their start by bootstrapping?
Wow, 45%. That's pretty significant.
Yeah. Think about that for a second. It really shakes up the idea that you need this massive pile of cash just to get your business off the ground.
It absolutely does. And what's fascinating about that statistic, is it highlights the real strength and potential of starting lean.
Right.
When a business has to be resourceful from the very beginning, it often builds a more sustainable and, well, a really well-controlled way to grow.
Hmm.
Starting lean isn't just about saving money. It forces you to be clever and really understand your core business, you see, which can make your company stronger in the long run.
Exactly. And that's exactly what we're exploring today. If you've ever dreamed of being your own boss but felt stuck because you thought, oh, I need a ton of money,
Mm.
well, this is for you. We're going to look at how you can actually start a business with as little as $1,000 or even get this for absolutely nothing.
And that brings up a big question for a lot of people with that entrepreneurial itch.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin when you're working with practically no money?
Right.
And that's exactly what we've been digging into.
Right. We've gone through a whole bunch of stuff, articles that break down the best free tools out there for businesses, lists of actual businesses you can start with hardly any cash,
Hmm.
and even some really inspiring stories from people who took a tiny initial investment and turned it into serious income.
Yeah, those stories are always great.
So if we step back and look at the bigger picture, what we're really trying to do here isn't just about being thrifty. It's about giving you the power to take that first step.
Exactly. It's about showing that not having a huge bank balance doesn't have to be the dead end you might think it is.
Totally. Our goal today is to give you some real, actionable ideas, point you toward some fantastic resources, and hopefully get you thinking differently.
Yeah.
So you can see that you absolutely can start building your own thing, no matter what your current money situation looks like.
Okay, so where should we kick things off?
Well, I think a really great place to begin is by looking at the incredible power of free tools that are available right now.
Good call. This whole idea we're exploring here is called bootstrapping. It's all about starting with limited resources and using what you have,
Hmm.
then taking any money you make and putting it right back into the business to help it grow.
And there are some serious advantages to going this route, right? Like you keep complete control of your company,
That's a huge one.
and it can often lead to a much more solid business in the long run. You're not tied to outside investors right from the start.
That's a huge plus, definitely. When you're not relying on outside money, you get to make all the decisions. It
Right.
forces you to be efficient and really, really smart about how you use your resources,
Right.
which, as we said, can be a real strength.
Okay, so let's get down to brass tacks then.
Hmm.
What kind of free tools are out there that can actually help someone get a business off the ground without spending a single penny?
Well, in pretty much every important area of running a business, there are fantastic free options. Take keeping your projects on track, for example.
Okay.
Tools like Trello, with its visual drag and drop Kanban style boards. It offers unlimited boards and lists for free.
Unlimited.
Yeah, this visual approach lets you see exactly what needs to be done and who's doing it. And interestingly, a lot of Trello users say it makes them much more productive,
Hmm.
like significantly boosts productivity and helps teams work together better. It's a great example of how you can manage your tasks with real clarity, just like those expensive project management systems, but, without the cost.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. So instead of paying for some complicated software, you can just use Trello to keep everything organized.
Exactly.
What other free goodies are out there?
Well, Asana is another excellent choice for managing tasks, especially if you have a team of, say, up to 15 people.
Okay.
They offer different ways to view your projects for free, which can be really helpful for keeping everyone aligned. And then there's Notion.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Notion.
It's like a super versatile workspace where you can manage tasks, create information hubs like wikis, and even build simple databases, all without any upfront cost.
Okay, so we're talking about staying organized and managing projects for free. That's a big win right there. What about just basic day-to-day stuff like email and documents?
Google Workspace, it offers a fantastic set of free cloud-based tools that most people are already familiar with, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Gmail for email, Google Docs for writing, Google Drive for storing files, all free to get started.
Right.
And for keeping track of your personal tasks, maybe with priority levels, Todoist also has a really useful free plan.
Right, those are tools so many of us use already. It's easy to forget just how useful those free tools can be for a brand new business. Now, what about making things look professional? Design can often be a big expense.
It really can be, but there are some amazing free design tools out there now. Canva, for instance.
Love Canva.
Yeah, it has a huge collection of ready-made templates and even lets you work on designs with other people on its free plan.
Oh, collaboration too. Nice.
This makes it super easy to create things like social media posts, flyers, presentations, all sorts of marketing materials.
That's great.
Figma is another great option. It's a design tool that works right in your web browser and allows for real-time teamwork,
Oh, interesting.
which is incredibly handy if you're collaborating with someone. And if you just need help picking the right colors, Coolers is a fantastic tool for creating and playing around with different color combinations.
Okay.
Canva's free templates are just great because it means you don't have to be a design whiz or hire one to get professional-looking visuals from day one. Saves you both time and money.
So from logos to your social media look, you can handle a lot of the visual side of things without needing to hire a designer right away. That's a huge saving.
Definitely.
What about getting the word out? Marketing can also eat up a budget quickly.
Absolutely. But there are free tools to help you with that too. MailChimp, for example, lets you manage email marketing for up to 2,000 contacts on its free plan.
2,000. That's pretty generous for free.
It is. It's a great way to start building an email list and staying in touch with potential customers. Then there's Hootsuite.
For social media, right.
Exactly. It allows you to connect up to 3 social media accounts and schedule up to 30 posts for free.
30 posts ahead. That helps.
Yeah, and it even works with Google Analytics, so you can see how your social media efforts are actually affecting your website traffic.
That connection with analytics sounds really valuable for figuring out what's working and what's not.
Precisely. And speaking of analytics, Google Analytics itself is a free powerhouse for seeing how your website is performing and understanding what your visitors are doing.
And that integrates with other Google stuff too.
Yeah, it works seamlessly with other Google tools like Ads and Tag Manager, and they even have free training like a whole academy to help you learn how to use it effectively.
Free training too. Okay.
And Buffer is another social media tool that offers a free plan managing up to 3 accounts and scheduling 10 posts. So you have options there.
Okay, so we've got tools for managing social media, sending emails, and seeing how everything's performing online, all for free.
Yeah.
What about actually having a place online to send people? Building a website used to be a pretty big investment.
Not anymore. WordPress is a free website builder with a ton of different looks themes you can choose from. It gives you a lot of flexibility in how your site looks and what it can do.
Right, WordPress is huge.
It is. And Wix is another popular option, maybe a bit simpler to start with for some. It's known for being really easy to use with its drag-and-drop interface.
Drag and drop is good.
Yeah, so even if you've never built a website before, you can create something professional-looking without needing to know any coding.
So you can literally build your online presence without paying a web developer. That's incredible.
Pretty much, yeah.
And finally, what about those essential photos and images? Stock photos can really add up.
Oh, definitely. But Unsplash is a fantastic resource for free, high-quality stock photos.
Unsplash.
They have a massive library of images, and you don't even need to give credit to the photographer, though it's nice if you do.
That's great.
And with so many people contributing, they're constantly adding new photos in all sorts of categories.
Okay, this is amazing. We've covered project management, getting work done, design, marketing, seeing how things are going, building a website, and even getting photos, all with free tools.
Yeah,
It really shows you how much you can do without spending a lot of money up front.
it really does. And
Yeah.
what's really cool is how these free tools together cover so many of the basic things a startup needs to do. You can manage how you work, create your brand look, reach people, and see how you're doing, all while keeping your initial costs super, super low.
So now that we know about all these great free resources, let's talk about actual business ideas.
Yeah.
What kind of ventures can you realistically start with $1,000 or even less?
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. Our sources had some really cool examples, along with what the average or median startup costs are for different kinds of businesses. It's surprising how affordable some can be.
Okay, give us some examples. What kind of businesses are we talking about here?
Well, one is becoming a social media copywriter. The average startup cost there is around $1,000.
Okay, writing for social media.
Exactly. This is all about creating engaging written content for social media platforms. It really comes down to having good writing skills and, knowing what's trending on social media, staying up to date.
Right.
And the potential to earn money can be pretty significant. We saw figures anywhere from $100 to even $500,000 per month for really successful copywriters or agencies.
Wow, $500K a month.
Yeah.
That's a huge range.
It is a huge range, but it shows the potential. And we even have an example of a company called Zovo Team Ltd. that
Hey.
started doing this back in 2019.
So it shows that if you got the writing chops, you can definitely build something substantial. What's another example of a business you can start without a lot of cash?
Okay, how about starting a niche accessories brand? The average cost here is just $600.
$600, like jewelry or...
Could be jewelry, could be watch bands, phone accessories, anything kind of specific. The profit margins in this area can be pretty good, and you can sell your products on websites like Etsy, Amazon, your own site maybe. There's a massive market for unique accessories. It's something like $473 billion, apparently.
Bro, okay.
And we also have some really inspiring stories here. Braxley Bands, they make watch bands, started with only $20.
$20.
Yeah, and grew to $100,000 in monthly sales.
Get out. That's amazing.
Isn't it? And Rainier Watch started with $300 and reached almost $2,000 per month.
Just $20 to $100K a month. That's incredible. It really shows the power of finding the right little corner of the market and using those online platforms effectively.
Exactly.
What else is on the list?
Okay, freelance writing comes up again, but as a business itself, the average startup cost is around $500.
Right. Setting yourself up properly.
Yeah, maybe a website, some basic software. It gives you a lot of freedom because you can work online from anywhere, set your own hours. Of course, being a good writer is key.
Makes sense.
Another idea is starting a blog about hair, also with an average cost of $500.
A hair blog, okay?
Yeah, this is perfect for people who know a lot about hair care, maybe stylists or just enthusiasts, and can share tips, talk about extensions, different products.
So if you have expertise in something, whether it's writing or beauty, you can turn that into a business with very little initial investment.
Exactly right. And if you have some tech skills, becoming a freelance app developer has an average startup cost of $750.
App developer, okay.
You'd be creating mobile apps for phones and tablets, Android or iOS. And there are lots of online courses now that can help you learn those skills if you don't have them already.
Right.
We even saw an example of a company called No Code MBA. They built a platform making $6,000 a month.
Wow.
With only $200 spent to get started. And the key was they used tools that didn't require traditional coding.
No-code tools. That's amazing. It really shows how technology has made it easier for so many different kinds of businesses to get going without needing to be like a hardcore programmer.
Absolutely. And it's not just about apps. You could also look at building an API, and the average startup cost for that is around $500.
An API. Okay, explain that a bit.
Right. So an API, or Application Programming Interface, is essentially a way for different software systems to talk to each other. Starting with a focused API can be a low-cost way to solve a specific problem for other businesses.
Okay. So you build a bridge between software.
Kind of, yeah. And Bradford Bakery, interestingly, had a $500 startup cost and reached $6,000 per month in revenue. Now, they're a bakery, but they really focused on their online presence and connecting systems, likely using APIs to manage orders or something similar.
Okay, so even something that sounds a bit technical, like building an API, can be surprisingly affordable to start or integrated into another business.
Absolutely. And for those who love to share what they know, becoming a blogging coach.
Coaching bloggers.
Yeah. Helping others start and grow their blogs. The average startup cost is just $250, and in some cases, we saw it could be as low as $4.
$4? How?
Maybe just registering a domain name on sale, using free tools for everything else initially. The potential to earn can range from $3,000 to $80,000 per month eventually. Prosmartrepreneur is one example given.
Wow, okay.
Similarly, starting a finance blog has an average cost of $200. And again, there are examples of people starting for as little as $4.
Finance blog, right?
Yes.
Sharing money tips.
Exactly. The earning potential here can be huge, from $1,000 to literally millions per month for the really big ones. And Prosmartrepreneur is cited as an example in that space too.
These examples really show that you don't need a ton of money to start something with real potential.
Not at all. And our source even mentions that some of these businesses can get up and running in about 75 days.
75 days, that's quick.
It really emphasizes the importance of just getting started rather than waiting for the perfect moment or, a big pile of cash.
Okay, so we've talked about businesses you can start for under $1,000.
Yeah.
That's already pretty accessible. But what about people who are really starting from zero with practically nothing?
Yeah.
What kind of businesses can you launch for free or very, very little money?
There are actually quite a few options in this category, and they mostly fall into service-based and skills-based areas.
Okay, like what? Give us some specific examples.
Well, on the service side, think about things like providing in-home childcare or dog care.
Right, using your home.
Exactly. If you enjoy spending time with kids or animals, you can start these with practically no money beyond your time and maybe some basic supplies you already have.
Hmm?
Other pet services too, like grooming, taking pets to the vet, dog walking, and pet sitting, are also very inexpensive to get started.
Right, if you're passionate about something and people need that service, you can definitely get going without a lot of initial investment, especially locally.
Exactly. Other service-based ideas include cleaning houses or offices,
What do you think? Yeah.
being someone who runs errands or handles odd jobs, sort of jack of all trades, house sitting and helping people organize their homes. These all rely on your time and effort to meet a need in your local area.
Okay, those all make sense. They depend on you putting in the work and maybe using things you already own, like a car or basic cleaning supplies.
Pretty much.
What about using your skills to start a free business?
This is where a lot of people can really leverage the talents they already have. Freelance writing and editing are great examples again.
Right, if you're good with words.
If you're good at writing or have a keen eye for grammar, you can start offering your services online and use free platforms or just your network to find clients initially.
Hmm.
Graphic design is another option, especially if you're already comfortable using those free tools we mentioned, like Canva or Figma.
Right, build a portfolio for free.
Exactly. Build a portfolio and find clients on freelance websites or through social media.
So if you have a skill that people need, the internet has made it easier than ever to connect with those who need your help, even with no budget.
Absolutely. Other skills-based businesses you could start for free or very low cost include being an AI consultant, if you happen to have that expertise, which is pretty hot right now.
True.
Creating online courses, you can use free platforms to host them initially, offering resume building services, building websites if you have the technical know-how.
Using those free builders we talked about?
Right. Programming, giving music lessons or tutoring, teaching, or just practicing languages with people online and working as a virtual assistant.
That's a really wide range of skills that people can turn into income without needing to invest a lot of money up front.
It really is. And it goes even further into online and other miscellaneous areas. You can start a blog for free, just based on what you're passionate about,
Yeah.
and then figure out how to make money from it later through ads or affiliate links or something. Becoming an influencer on social media, though that takes time and effort.
Sure.
Starting a shop on Etsy, there might be small fees for listing items, but this setup itself is cheap. Working as a social media consultant or even being a life coach can all be started with very little cost.
Life coach. Interesting.
Yeah. Even things like driving for Uber or Lyft, if you have a car. Drop shipping.
Explain drop shipping quickly.
Right. So drop shipping is where you set up an online store to sell products, but you don't actually keep any inventory yourself. When someone buys from you, you place the order with a third-party supplier and they ship it directly to the customer.
Ah, so no upfront cost for stock.
Exactly, lower risk there. Then there's gardening and landscaping, event planning, and even sewing or doing alterations. All can be started with minimal upfront investment.
Though some of those might require, a computer, internet access, maybe a car, sewing machine.
True, there might be some basic requirements, but not significant capital investment typically.
It's really encouraging, though, to see how many different paths there are to starting a business without needing a big financial cushion.
Definitely. What's important to remember, as you said, is that even though some of these might be free in terms of money, they will require your time, your effort, and often using skills you already have or are willing to learn.
Right. The investment is time and energy.
Precisely. So once you've decided on a low-cost business idea, what are some smart ways to actually make it work when you're bootstrapping?
Good question. One really important way is to use what's called the lean startup approach.
Ah, yes, lean startup.
This is all about quickly trying out different ideas, getting a basic version of what you're offering out there, like a minimum viable product or MVP, to get feedback from actual customers, and then constantly making improvements based on what you learn. It's about learning by doing and making changes as you go.
Iterating quickly.
Exactly. Like one source explained, you could create a simple landing page, a web page, just to describe your idea and see if people sign up or show interest before you spend a lot of time and money building the whole thing.
That makes so much sense. Test the waters before you jump in and spend a lot of what little you have on something nobody actually wants.
Exactly. Validate the demand first.
Another smart move is to really focus on the skills and knowledge you already have.
Leverage what you know.
Right. Think about any experience you have in a certain industry, any natural talents you possess, and the things you're actually interested in. Turning something you're already good at and enjoy into a business can give you a real head start.
Yeah, instead of trying to learn a whole new field from scratch, build on what you already know. That seems like a much more efficient way to get started. Less of a learning curve.
Absolutely. Also, look for ways to build relationships where both sides benefit.
Partnerships?
Yeah, partnerships or collaborations. Try to find opportunities to team up with others where you can help each other solve problems, maybe enhance your offerings together, and build trust. Working together with others can be a really powerful way to grow without needing a lot of money.
Collaboration over competition, especially when you're just starting out, sounds like a really smart way to go. Share resources, share audiences.
Exactly. Another thing to consider is outsourcing.
Great.
By handing off certain tasks to other people or companies, maybe using freelancers for specific projects, you can often save money compared to hiring full-time employees. And you get access to specialized skills you might not have.
That's a good point. You don't have to do everything yourself. You could bring in expertise just when you need it.
Right. And don't forget about bartering.
Bartering, like trading?
Yeah. Trading goods or services directly without using money. It can be a great way to get what you need. Maybe web design help in exchange for your writing services when you're on a really tight budget.
Bartering an old idea that's still really useful today. It's all about finding creative ways to meet your needs without spending cash.
Exactly. And finally, there's this idea that came up of the $100 business.
The $100 business, okay.
The concept here is basically start really small, focus on selling something that people actually want to buy. Don't wait until everything is perfect to launch.
Get it out there.
Yeah, get it out there. And view any initial costs, even if it's just $100, as a valuable learning experience, like paying for your education in entrepreneurship.
Right.
Examples of this could be simple things like buying and selling stuff online, or maybe even becoming a representative for a company like Avon, which often has a very small initial startup kit fee.
I really like that idea of the $100 business. It just takes away the pressure of needing a huge investment and encourages you to just get started, learn, and grow from there.
Exactly. What's really interesting when we look at all these strategies is that they all come down to being resourceful, creative, and willing to take action with whatever you have. Instead of feeling stuck just because you don't have a lot of money sitting in the bank.
So it's clear that it's not just about having the right tools and business ideas. Having the right mindset and being willing to actually do something are just as important, maybe even more so, right?
Oh, absolutely. Crucial. One key part of having the right mindset is understanding the importance of testing your ideas quickly and inexpensively.
Like the lean startup thing.
Exactly. Think about how companies like, well, Elon Musk's ventures or even high-end brands like Rolex use waiting lists.
Waiting lists, how does that help?
It's a fantastic way to gauge real demand for something before you invest heavily in producing it or building it out. It tells you if people actually want what you're planning to offer.
Ah, right. Proof of concept.
It's about really figuring out if your idea resonates with people out in the real world, not just in your own head.
That's so insightful. The market will give you real feedback, sometimes brutally honest feedback, that you can't always get just by thinking about it yourself.
Precisely. Also, it's crucial to overcome the fear of failure.
That's a big one for people.
It is. And not get stuck trying to make everything perfect right from the start. Perfectionism can be paralyzing. As one of our sources put it very directly, kind of bluntly,
Yeah.
kill your ego. Build and launch ASAP.
Wow. Okay, direct.
Yeah. The point is, the most important thing is to create something that people actually want. Solving that problem is more important than making it perfect initially.
That's a really powerful message. Don't let the fear of not being perfect stop you from even beginning. Focus on giving people something they find valuable, even if it's simple at first.
Exactly. And once you do launch, talking to your customers every single day is so valuable.
Really talking to them.
Yeah, getting direct feedback, asking questions, really understanding their needs and pain points. This can lead to crucial insights, changes, and improvements in what you're offering.
That direct connection with your customers sounds incredibly important for a new business that needs to be agile and adapt quickly.
It's vital. Also, it can be really inspiring and motivating to learn about entrepreneurs who started with very little.
Yeah, those stories we mentioned earlier.
Right. Think about Warren Buffett's first business venture. It was apparently buying a used pinball machine for $25 with a friend and placing it in a barber shop.
A pinball machine.
Yeah. Or how Brian Jung apparently turned $100 into millions through smart investments and online ventures. These kinds of stories really show what's possible with a bit of creativity, resourcefulness, and a lot of hard work.
Those examples are truly inspiring and help to break down that mental barrier, the idea that you need to start wealthy to become successful.
Definitely. Investing in yourself and your knowledge is also a really smart move, even when funds are tight.
Learning, yeah.
Books like Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The 4-Hour Work Week, and Your Money or Your Life, these classics can provide really valuable insights and strategies for business and life.
So even spending a little bit on learning, maybe from the library or used bookstore, can pay off in big ways later on.
Absolutely. And while you obviously need to be careful and understand the risks,
Big caveat there.
huge caveat, yes. But even considering some less traditional ways to use a very small amount of money, like $100, maybe looking into individual stocks if you do your research, or potentially cryptocurrency with extreme caution.
Very extreme caution.
Very extreme caution. Or even just taking advantage of sign-up bonuses offered by banks for opening an account could be a way to potentially grow your initial tiny bit of capital. It's about being strategic and looking for opportunities, even small ones.
Okay, thinking outside the box a bit.
Yeah. And finally, developing what one source called with or without you energy.
With or without you energy, like the U2 song.
Huh, maybe. But the idea is when you're pitching your business or just building it, having this energy that says, I believe in this, I'm making this happen, whether you join me or not, it shows determination and conviction.
Right, that confidence.
Exactly. It can be really powerful and attract people, customers, partners, maybe even investors down the line who want to be a part of that vision. Also, just generally the people you surround yourself with in your local community can really influence your entrepreneurial spirit. Finding supportive people is key.
That idea of with or without you energy is really compelling. It speaks to that inner drive and belief that can be so persuasive, so magnetic.
It really does. Ultimately, one of our sources points out this big shift from a time when maybe only big corporations could dominate to now where literally anyone, no matter their background or how much money they start with, really has the chance to build a business that can reach the whole world thanks to the internet and these tools.
That's an incredibly empowering thought. The barriers to getting started have really come down, haven't they? And the potential reach is just enormous compared to before.
It's a different world. And what's so interesting is how all these things we've talked about, the free tools, the affordable business ideas, the smart ways to bootstrap, and having the right mindset, they all come together. They make starting a business with limited funds not just a possibility, but often a really smart and even advantageous way to begin. You learn so much by starting lean.
Okay, so if you had to boil it all down, pick one main thing for people to remember from all this discussion, what would it be?
I think the most important thing is this. You absolutely do not need a fortune to start a business. That's just not true anymore. By being smart about using the many free tools that are out there, by focusing on business ideas that fit your skills and don't cost a lot to get going, and maybe most importantly, by having a focused, action-oriented mindset,
Yeah, taking action.
you absolutely can make your dreams of being an entrepreneur a reality, no matter what your current financial situation looks like. It's within reach.
That's a really powerful and encouraging message to end on. Definitely gives people something to think about. So here's what I want you, the listener, to really think about now. Consider all the things you already have access to, your skills, the people you know, your network, even just the time you have available.
Yeah, those are assets.
Exactly. How could you combine those assets with the ideas and strategies we've talked about today to take that very first step, maybe a tiny step, towards starting your own thing? What's one small action you could take right now, maybe something that doesn't cost anything at all, to just try out an idea or learn a new skill that could help you get started?